Wait, remember Slugterra? It was the creation of Nerd Corp's entertainment co-founder, Asaf Ace Fipka, that premiered on Disney XD from 2012 to 2016. This hyper-immersive sci-fi fantasy series takes place in an underground world called Slugterra, in which is between the surface, or the Earth world that we are familiar with, and the Dark Caverns, which is home to a corruptive liquid known as Dark Water, and imperialist demon-like creatures known as Darkbane. Slugterra is much more hospitable. It is home to slugs, little sentient creatures that are able to transform into powerful versions of themselves when launched faster than 100 miles per hour. Slug slinging is what the sport is called, in which someone uses a launch pad and slugs as their ammo to either duel or fight. I've heard a lot about Slugterra before jumping in to give it a try. The fan base who ride for the show are still there and care greatly for the show, the messages within the show, and the cuteness of the different slugs. So to say I've been eager to check the series out would be a massive understatement. On his 15th birthday, 5 years after his father's disappearance, our main character, Eli Shane, must take up his father's mantle and venture down to Slugterra to keep the peace and pick up where he left off. Ah, yes, the classic hero's journey. No, but seriously, if I was asked to leave Earth's surface, the first thing I would ask is if the new place I'm going has a Brazilian steakhouse. If not, sorry Slugterra, you can take care of yourself. I've got a nice little cut of bottom sirloin to munch on.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Thanks so much to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. This season, I am personally thankful to Manscaped. Thanks to their Manscaped Performance Package 4.0, which comes with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver deodorant for your ornaments, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a nice travel bag for you to take on the go when you're a busy person on the move. Their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is incredible. It features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce any accidents down there thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. It also has this 4000K LED spotlight to make sure you're having a more precise shave. And get this, it's also waterproof. As someone who dislikes any accidents down there, as I'm sure you are as well, I have never had a more pleasant and smooth performance than with the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. Its performance is unmatched, and you can't be shaving your face and the rest of your body with the same razor. We've evolved as humans, so let's act like it. It makes a great gift for the holidays or just a great gift for yourself because you deserve it. You've been working hard and I'm very proud of you. So enjoy the ultimate men's hygiene bundle and get 20% off as well as free shipping with the code FRINGE20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com and use code FRINGE20. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your stocking and ornaments will thank you.
Excellent advice.
Nerd Corp's, a play on the concept of a nerdy Marine Corps, was founded in 2002 by Ace and Chuck Johnson after they left a larger animation company called Mainframe Entertainment. Nerd Corps was acquired in 2014 by DHX Media, which is now known as Wildbrain. Slugterra would premiere on Disney XD in Canada on September 3rd, 2012. The series ran for technically 6 seasons, with the Slugterra TV movies making up a lot of 2 seasons worth of its content, ending after 63 episodes in 2016. Slugterra was a product of toy company restrictions. In coming up with the series idea for a boys action TV series, it was well known that anything involving guns was in most cases a no-go. So the concept of a gun was played around with naturally, but it was finding a way to make it more akin to something like a Nerf gun. Ace knew he wanted to set his series underground, but decided to deconstruct the concept of a gun and rework the guns to be more like a launch pad. Then, thinking even deeper about the ammo, he decided to think about the ammo as sentient beings that are friends with the people who are launching them. Those two decisions both formed the very core concepts of the series, as well as made it kid-friendly. Ace was also heavily influenced by the concept of westerns and how they were reworked into modern and futuristic settings like Star Wars. So the real challenge in developing the concept of Slugterra had to be finding a way to fuse those ideas together, but make it solely unique as well, borrowing concepts from successful properties like Pokemon but reverse engineering certain aspects of it, which we will get into in a little bit. But somehow, some way, this totally weird concept for a show managed to come together in a way leaving a slime trail all the way to now, a whole decade after it originally premiered.
I'm gonna have to wait for a recharge to try that again.
We'll be right back to Slugterra.
And now back to Slugterra.
The series opens with Will Shane, our main character's father, who is engaged in a very perilous fight with the evil Dr. Black, before being sucked into a very dark black hole created by a ghoulishly modified slug called Tempesto. At this point, we aren't completely sure what happened to Eli's father. Is he dead or is he not? But we can assume that the hole he was sucked into leads to the dark caverns. With his father gone, Eli receives a message from one of his slugs, Burpee, that Will manages to sling out before being swallowed by the black hole. Will's note details his job, and that the reason Eli is receiving the message is because he is gone, which everyone, including Eli, assumes meaning that he is dead. Eli doesn't seem to be too upset about this, which I guess makes sense. If my father abandoned me at a young age to play sheriff for an underground world, I too wouldn't bat an eye as much at his presumed passing. But hey, that's just me. However, to uproot my life, leave my family, friends, and the human world, and all of its yummy Brazilian steakhouse foods, to travel to a slug-themed world that I am not sure I can return from is a bit too much to ask for. Hey, to each their own, I guess. When Eli arrives in Slugterra, it's shocking how much his name is thrown around. His dad was pretty famous and known as the best slug slinger in all of Slugterra, quickly forming a reputation for himself as a peacekeeper of the realm. Eli's last name proves to attract both negative and positive attention. Many assume that he is just like his father, and are eager to duel him despite Eli having no prior slinging experience or slugs in his arsenal. He also meets friends of his father, and is able to get great equipment, as well as inherit his father's hideout, which is pretty sick by the way. I also want to add on that Shane was such a strange pick for his last name. Characters that have first names as their last names already make me uncomfortable for literally no reason, but it's just so funny how many people we meet that are like, oh, you're a Shane. And every time someone mentions his last name or his father's legacy, which happens like 4 times an episode, I just start thinking that their first name is Shane. But that's just a me thing, probably not a you thing. Anyway, after he acquaints himself with his new home, Eli, voiced by Sam Vincent, quickly meets the people that would inevitably come to make up the Shane Gang, as they're called. He first meets Pronto, who is voiced by Lee Takar. Pronto makes it known that he is incredibly useful to the young Shane as a tracker. He is always trying to prove his value to Eli, as he believes that the young Shane can eventually be as amazing as his father, and definitely likes the fame that comes by being associated with a Shane. He is a molnoid, a digging inhabitant of Slugterra. While he's cowardly and not the best slinger, he makes up for this with his unique and very convenient digging skills. He acts as more of a comedic relief in the series, as his selfish and naive nature leads the Shane Gang into some very interesting circumstances. Eli then meets Beatrice, or as we most often hear her referred to as Trixie. Voiced by Shannon Chan Kent, Trixie is a young human girl who is incredibly gifted at slug slinging. After Will's disappearance, her home cavern was terrorized by slingers, so she decided to become her own hero and pick up the pieces that Shane left after his disappearance. Her strong sense of justice comes through in her documentary skills, as she uses her camera to both help people to understand the happenings in Slugterra and how to properly care for slugs and their environment. Her fighting skills are great too. What she doesn't have in terms of brawn and muscle, she makes up for in speed and agility. She also has great leadership skills and even proves to be more valuable than Eli on many occasions. This is shown in the first time they meet, as she is the one who saves Eli from an altercation with a bully because he has genuinely no idea how to fight in this new world. Being introduced to the concept of dueling, he is partnered up by Pronto with a cave troll named Cord Zane, voiced by Andrew Francis. Cord, expecting Eli to judge him for his species, is surprised when Eli shares that his dad taught him that cave trolls were loyal, honest, and brave. The both of them immediately establish a mutual respect and befriend each other, and Eli's dad was right. Cord is loyal, honest, and brave. He is also incredibly affectionate, big-hearted, and level-headed. His gentle and kind-hearted demeanor is balanced with his huge and bulky form that makes him the strongest physically of all of them. He also proves to be even more valuable with his immense knowledge of equipment and machinery. Both Eli and Cord are frequently shown sparring together and having a very healthy and harmless rivalry between the two of them that proves to be helpful in making sure that Eli is prepared to face the many ruthless villains of the series. Those villains include one of the first characters we ever met, Dr. Black. Black, very much a Lex Luthor-esque character who is incredibly powerful, being the owner of the influential Black Industries. This is a front for his real work, finding a way to take control of all of Slugterra by destroying the magical slug energy that protects the world. From early in his life, he was exposed to the deep caverns, changing his physical appearance to match those of the Darkbane. There, he befriended the Darkbane and discovered the Dark Water, which could be used to infect slugs, ghoulifying them. Other villains we meet include the Emperor, Spirix, the Darkslinger, and many more. The slugs that exist in Slugterra come in many different flavors. Sorry, I'm hungry and I can't stop thinking about fogo de chao. Forms, breeds, whatever you want to call them. There are like 50-ish different breeds of slugs, and each fall into one of 12-ish different elemental categories. It gets a bit wonky when you account for the ghoulified slugs though. The different varieties of elements that the slugs could fall into are air, toxic air, earth, metal, electricity, light, psychic, fire, ice, and water. Each slug has its own unique powers, but not all of them are used for fighting. Some are even used for chores around the house. And there's even a healer slug named Doc that is incredibly rare as an energy elemental slug, but is part of Eli's arsenal. The elemental slugs are ancient slugs that are incredibly powerful, and are split into 5 main categories being earth, air, energy, water, and fire. These slugs were around way before blasters or even the humans that invented the blasters. In order to reach their velocimorph form, in which they are able to transform when hitting 100 miles per hour, they had to look to their natural surroundings to achieve these forms. The slugs we have today are their descendants. The slugs themselves are a really interesting way to approach the very interesting and conversation-fueled topic of humane animal fighting. In the world of Pokemon, that subject isn't really touched on, but there's an implication that the Pokemon have some sort of a special relationship with their owners, so much so that they will fight for them and put themselves on the line. But in real life, that's literally dogfighting, and everyone can hopefully agree that in the real world, that is messed up and downright disgusting. Luckily, in video games and cartoons, it in no way is real. Slugterra doesn't shy away from discussing this moral dilemma though. In fact, it embraces it and uses it as a way to distinguish the good guys from the bad guys. When Eli first arrives, the only slug that he has is the one that he inherited from his father, Burpee. He establishes trust with the slugs that he has, and even though slugs are used as currency and are often traded when winning a duel or purchasing new equipment, Eli sees the slug ammo as his friends that are invaluable. He also sticks up for the slugs that are underappreciated or abused by their slug slingers, extending a hand to the slugs that are left behind. When searching for new slugs as well, instead of sneaking up on them in their natural habitat and dragging them away from their home, he talks to them and asks if they want to voluntarily join his team. It is also implied that the act of velocimorphing is incredibly enjoyable for slugs, and after they actually fight each other, they don't even seem to be hurt or damaged. This could possibly be because slugs are way more durable when they velocimorph, and they don't have spines to snap or skulls to crack like humans do, which ultimately creates a nice loophole for the whole animal fighting thing. While Pronto, Trixie, and Cord initially think that Eli bonding with the slugs is unusual, through being exposed to how the bond between him and his slugs makes him a better fighter, they let that part of Eli's ethics influence how they approach the concept of slug slinging too. The Slugterra TV movies are actually not any new content separate from the series itself. Those movies being Slugterra Ghoul from Beyond, Slugterra Return of the Elementals, Slugterra Slug Fu Showdown, Slugterra Eastern Cavern, Slugterra The Emperor's Revenge, and Slugterra Into the Shadows. They were incorporated as big events or fillers that would make up part or a whole season of the show itself. After its last episode air date in 2016, the series was available for streaming on Netflix until 2018, exposing a new larger audience to the show itself, building up a nice fan base in general.
Looks like we got ourselves a standoff.
I'm ready to slug it out. And these little guys?
Now, this series nicely lives on YouTube, directly on WildBrain's Slugterra channel that boasts an impressive 1.2 million subscribers with constant uploads. While the series was airing, there were also a total of 80 slugisodes produced and aired. These minisodes usually explored the lore and history of Slugterra more, expanding upon the universe that we get to explore in the series. The series was never officially cancelled. Instead, a lot of attention was shifted over to developing games. There were a few computer games such as Battle for Slugterra, Secret of the Shadow Mine, Slug Run, Slug Wars, and Slugterra VR, but their mobile games are what is keeping the IP feeling alive and thriving. Slugterra Dark Waters, Slugterra Guardian Force, Slugterra Slug It Out and Slug It Out 2, Slugterra Slug Life, and lastly Slugterra Slug Slinger Showdown. Those are the many games that have since been added to the App Store for download on smartphones and tablets. The quality of those games varies, with a few definitely being a bit higher in quality, but it's just cool cool to see how many different styles of games there are. Slugterra, however, 10 years after its original premiere, isn't over though. It technically is, or already has, made a comeback. Slugterra's new revival will be in the form of more shorts. Slugterra Ascension is a spin-off series that plans to be 20 4-minute shorts that follow the adventures of Eli and Trixie as they fight against twin brothers and Dr. Black affiliates Lock and Load. A sneak peek for the series premiered on September 5th, 2022 at 2:50 p.m., and new episodes began on September 18th, 2022 at 11:50 a.m. globally on WildBrain's YouTube channel and on WildBrain TV in Canada, with several episodes already out now at the time of this video. The series was pretty successful overall, winning a multitude of awards including an Emmy and a Leo Award, and a whole slew of nominations. The continuation of the series through many different formats speaks to how loved the series is across the globe. The idea for the series is derivative enough genre-wise to be familiar, but also so unique and different enough that it is interesting to watch. It leaves fans wanting more. The great plot progression helps as well, and the series is actually really good. I found myself truly enjoying what the series had to offer. From the concept to the action, it was purely just entertaining. Each episode is fun, colorful, explosive, and thrilling. The characters are likable and the plot arcs are three-dimensional enough that it is interesting to a more adult audience as well as a young one. Also, I have to give a shout out to the animation, as it was pretty difficult in 2012 to make a show that was fully CGI that looked cool enough with limited budgets, so they made good use of the environments that they were in. I love the color palette and how diverse it is, especially when we see the difference between good and evil. Slugterra versus the Dark Caverns. Like, look at Eli's hideout. I want to go there! Despite all of that though, the show of course wanted to be a vessel for toy sales, and going off the initial concept of adding guns into the show akin to Nerf guns, they did make actual blasters with plastic darts that doesn't really work too well, but I do like that they made figures for all the different slugs from the show, and if I was made of money and had room to house all of them, I'd love to collect them all. But what are your thoughts on Slugterra? Are you a fan of the show? Have you been keeping up with the new miniseries? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on for more content like this. Click the join button to become a member and help support the channel. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll be back with another video soon, but until then, later.